Property Tribe celebrating women in property on location here at the Women in Property and Business event in London. And right now I'm joined by Zaheda, and I keep bumping into you all over the place.
Vanessa,
good to have you. Good to have you on the programme.
It's a pleasure to see you today.
Thank you, and you. Now, you've got an interesting property journey. Tell us a little bit about when you started and where you are now.
I started in 1994 when I bought my first buy-to-let in London. Initially, I found it a little bit hard dealing with the tenant, but eventually we overcome it, and for the next few years we did nothing. Then in 2005, my husband and myself decided to do it on a full-time basis, and just went mad.
You got the bug.
That's it. We got the bug, and it was quite easy. We set up with the strategy of buying properties and remortgaging them and buying more properties. Then we expanded into the HMO, and we find that with the HMO you tend to cash flow more. Obviously, we had to do our due diligence, and we have a number of properties in and around London, up north, Leeds, Manchester, Burnley, Wales, Sunningdale, central London. It was hard work, challenging, but we're both passionate about properties, and we are now at the stage where we are focusing on increasing the return on our properties, analysing and looking how we can make more money out of it. Some of the properties we're renting room by room, and we find that that way it brings in more cash flow. Up north, the properties, we don't have a lot of capital appreciation, so by renting room by room we generate more cash. We haven't invested in any property in the last couple of years, but what we've done is in some areas we're just making sure we don't have any voids, and we've got 4 HMOs, and with the HMOs there's a lot more work to be done. But obviously we've understood target audience, like we've got students from abroad year in, year out, and we know how to advertise and how to communicate with them. Up in Leeds we've got students. It's a very thriving market. There is a bit of competition, but obviously what we've learned is like the needs of the tenant are changing all the time, so you've got to up your game and provide decent accommodation. On our journey, I've also learned that it's important to be an accredited landlord.
Yes, good point.
And I find that just to become an accredited landlord, it's important to be a member of a certain association. Like I'm a member of National Landlord Association, which I've been for years, and we've become accredited. We always attend meetings with the councils. Like I know all the people up north in the council and in Wales as well. We are accredited because different boroughs have different schemes. And even in London, we are accredited to run our properties in London itself. So it may be different accreditation scheme. But I love to provide decent accommodation for my tenant. I manage a number of the properties, and I find that by keeping in contact with them and dealing with them directly, it solves a lot of the problems, because I understand their needs, and tenants can give me a ring, they can email me, and I have a network of people in different areas that I can call upon straight away to deal with any of the issues that are in any of the properties. I've travelled up and down the country and I enjoy that as well.
Are you doing it full time now?
I do it full time, and I also offer bookkeeping services to landlords and property investors. I specialize in a couple of the softwares like Xero and QuickBooks, where we do cloud accounting so people can access their records straight away.
Very good. I mean, some people would say that property is quite male dominated. What would you say to that? Because sometimes being a female can be to our advantage.
I think when I started back in 1994, it was very male dominated, but I have always been passionate about the buy-to-let. And I started reading about it, and even though it was male dominated, my husband and myself, we made the first move, so we bought it property jointly. But then in 2005 we decided that it would be better for each of us to own properties in our own name. I think a lot of people hesitate to invest in properties because of lack of awareness, and also it's a big investment. And people don't like to invest money if they're not sure about it. And sometimes there's too much information, too many courses available, and people go on courses and then they come out, they know so many strategies, but they can't actually decide on which one to follow. So I think, yes, women do find it harder, but nowadays, like a meetup where we've got all these women, they come here and they talk about their own journey and how they're learning from each other. It makes it easier. It's easier.
It does. And just to finish, what would you say to ladies watching this that are thinking of getting involved in property but are a little bit hesitant? What would you say to them?
I think they need to take action. They've got to be very positive. Getting involved is not a glamorous job. There's a lot of number of challenges, but above all, you need to look into what it is to become a landlord. Why do you want to be a landlord? Because you can let a letting agent look after your property, but you need to be involved in it. At the end of the day, it's your property, and by joining simple association, paying 80 or 100 pounds a year is well worth for all the amount of education you get. And then you can decide whether this is for you. And I think a lot of women nowadays can do it. Just have to take the action and start by doing the small steps. And that will get them somewhere at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this interview. And I know that you practice what you preach, because I see you at events around the country and you're always hungry for knowledge, aren't you?
I am indeed. Well, I've been a member of the Property Tribe for a number of years, and always come to Property Tribes whenever I've got queries, and also learning from other investors and newbies. And there's a wealth of information. I think it's one of the most popular forum for investors.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. It's been great to have you on Property Tribes. Thank you.